Hey guys, another video for our Buying a House in Japan playlist. So usually our water bill is about $70. This one turned up recently was $250. So when I look at the meter, and you can see that spinning around there, and there's no water being used at the time, which means there must be a fairly substantial leak costing us a lot of money every day. So I've got the Unskilled plumber to work. Decided to start at the meter, which seemed to make sense. So cleaned around the meter, took all the dirt out around the meter to see if there's any leaks there on our side of the meter, and the same with the mains tap, just to make sure there wasn't a leak there. So just decided that the best strategy was to start with the least intrusive, the easiest accessible places. So those pipes there go into a toilet and urinal and hand basin in that shed. Some of you might remember we did a renovation on that. That's outside the main house. And then there's this pipe that runs down the side of the house all the way to the back. Now some of you might remember the Unskilled landscaper cleaned up that area through there to make it more accessible and more tidy. So it's just about to be destroyed, right? So just decided that this was accessible. It was hard work. It took about 4 or 5 hours to do the whole length of this pipe, but it was caused the least amount of damage, because the alternatives are, as you'll see later, much more destructive. So this is sort of sad. Had that area looking so much tidier than it was before, and then just had to destroy it. Just hoping every time there was some soft clay like that, was just hoping that there was going to be a puddle of water. Right. Oh, it's a bit soft here, it's a little bit wet, because it hasn't rained for a couple of weeks. So any wet spot got us all excited. But wasn't to be. So I ended up doing the whole length of this pipe. No leaks at all. Which is amazing. It's actually been, half of it's been out exposed to the weather in the snow and ice and everything in winter, and in the sun in summer, and no leaks at all, which is sort of good to know. So this is obviously Unskilled plumber, so it was process of elimination. So every time we decided something was okay, it was like, okay, well that bit's okay. The next bit goes under the concrete. There's also another pipe, or like a wastewater pipe that goes under that concrete that's new. So we didn't know if there was actually a incoming water pipe going that way as well. That goes into the toilet. So it's all a mystery, because the house is old, and then over the years different things have been done to it, and there's no plan for it anywhere. Some of you might remember when we had problem with the outgoing water pipe, we had to just try and work it out, because there's no plans for it, there's no nothing, there's no plumber that knows. So it's all a big mystery. That's the shower in there, shower and bathroom. And the pipe goes underneath that concrete there, we assumed, and then under the house. So across underneath this concrete from that corner to over here, there's a pipe running. We assumed, right? It's all assumption. In discussion with the other Unskilled plumbers in the house, who'll come and stand and watch. What are you doing? Well, I'm trying to work out where this pipe goes. So remembered from when we first moved in, there was a hatch at the bottom of this cupboard that was full of stuff. So took all the stuff out of the cupboard and then accessed this hatch in the bottom of this cupboard, hoping that would get accessed under the floor, keeping in mind it's only about 1 foot. It's like less than half a meter high off the ground. This is the old Japanese style design, and the new houses are exactly the same. When they built the new houses next door, exactly the same. That didn't go anywhere. That access cover didn't get us under the kitchen at all. It went the other way. So in this bedroom that some of you might remember, big renovation got done in here a while ago, there was actually a hole cut in the floor at that time. Can't remember why. Oh, there was the floor had a bit of a weakness to it, needed to be reinforced. So at that stage, the Unskilled carpenter cut a hole in the floor. So decided, okay, we can use that hole in the floor to see if we can get some access to some pipes somewhere. So it's just huge mysteries, one after another. No idea where any of the pipes went. No idea where the leak was, no idea what about anything. So opened this one up and had a look down underneath. And this one actually allowed us to see underneath the toilet room. The toilet room had one pipe that came in for the toilet itself, and then another one that came in for a hand basin that's not used, and where the urinal used to be that we removed. And everything seemed dry under there, couldn't see any water at all. So the negative side of these house designs is it's impossible to access pipes and things. The positive thing is that the way they're designed, they get good airflow through underneath there. They're very clean and tidy. You can see a grill over there at the end, so no animals get underneath. So the system does work. It's just if you have a problem, you have a hard time. And those new houses next door are exactly the same. So, haven't been able to get under the kitchen floor. Only one way to do it. Unfortunately, cut a hole in the floor. So it just had to be done. There's no way that the external walls are all concrete at the bottom. So no other way to get in. This is the only way to get in under the floor in the kitchen. So really sad, really didn't want to do that. But it did allow access to these pipes. And again, everything seemed dry. No drips anywhere, no damp ground anywhere. It was all dry, all good. So again, process of elimination. No, that's all right. No, that's all right. But it was a huge mystery because everything we were looking at seemed okay. None of the taps were dripping. Everything seemed okay. All the pipes seemed good. There's sort of a mixture of old ones and new ones, so then had to fix the floor there, right, and reinforce the floor. This is about a week's work that you guys are watching here. Went back and had a look at the meter. And spinning round, and then decided, wanted to check, so turned the water off, wanted to check where it runs under the concrete. That was the main suspect at this stage because everything else was checking out okay. So cut off. So we know until this point we've seen all that and we assume that's all okay. But just to confirm that, if we seal this off, cap it off, and the wheel stops turning, that means that that pipe is okay, but it also means that those pipes that go to that outside bathroom that's right close to this meter, that they're okay as well. So it stopped turning. So that means everything at the front of the house, where that outside toilet and outside urinal, outside basin, and that pipe that runs down the side, they're all okay. And it means nothing goes down the front there. So we know now that the end of this pipe, after the end of that pipe, is where the problem starts. So yeah, that tap's at the beginning. So yeah, just letting the air out. Just checking all these. Just to make sure that they're not on the same line. So they've got their own line, they're still working, right? So that means that they're okay. Because they're working and the wheel's not turning, the meter's not turning, so that means they're all okay. So that was successful. That helped isolate again what wasn't the problem. So now it's got to be under this concrete somewhere because everything else seems okay. So a concrete cutter and cut up that concrete would be hundreds and hundreds of dollars because you've got to get the big concrete cutter with the water cooling and all the rest of the stuff that they do to cut concrete like that. Be a massive job. Cut it up with jackhammers and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And again, some of you remember we don't want to spend any money on the old house because we love the place and we like living here, but when we do eventually sell it, whoever buys it's going to demolish it. So any money we put into it's just been thrown away basically. So I'm trying to avoid that. So this is the next easiest, rather than try and cut up that main big slab, this is the next easiest thing. Cut this up. First to see if there's a leak, hoping there'd be a leak here, and secondly to try and work out where the pipes ran, because there was still a couple of mysteries. One was when we turned off that water before and when we kept this one, the meter kept turning. And also went around and tested all the taps in the house, and the only one that worked was the cold water in the shower. All the others didn't work. Right. Are you with me so far? So we know now, prematurely excited, as you'll find out shortly. So now we know the problem's under that concrete somewhere, but also we worked out that that line under the concrete must branch and go to the shower, the cold water in the shower. For some bizarre reason, the cold water in the shower is separate from all the other water in the house. So I ran a bypass across and went around and tested all the water. All the water was working except the cold water in the shower. So that's helped us narrow it down. Looked under the floor again and looked back in the back corner and noticed that the sand there was slightly darker colour than the rest of the sand under the house. So just see it over there. And it's just slightly more yellow. It doesn't look wet, it just looks more yellow than the rest of the under the house. So also that's underneath where the shower is. So okay, it's got to be in that corner. Have a look at all this stuff. Have a look at this cupboard full of all our crockery and everything. So well, that had to come out. That all had to come out, and that cupboard had to be moved. So under here somewhere, all a mystery. So there's 2 pipes coming in underneath that concrete, and then it suddenly became 3 pipes in that corner. So the only way to have a look at it is to cut that hole in that floor. Heartbreaking. Opened it up, had a look, put a hand down in the sand, and it was wet. There's the pipe for the shower. That's the problem. Took a week. Goodness knows how many hours. Before work every day for 4 or 5 hours for a week. There it is. So that's enough of this, isn't it? I've had enough. The next thing is to fix it. That'll be the next video. Part 2. More videos coming soon.